Welcome to Kingdom Light Tale channel, where simple stories build strong faith. Let's dive into today's story and discover how a small light can make a big difference. Title: The Boy Who Kept Praying. The village of Adrian was small, but alive with noise, traders calling out prices, children chasing old tires down dusty roads, and roosters announcing the morning long before the sun arrived. In a modest clay house at the edge of the village lived a boy named Daniel. Every morning before anyone else stirred, Daniel would sit upright on his tin mattress. The air would still be cool, the sky still gray. He would rub his eyes, slide off the bed, and kneel. "Father, thank you for today. Please guide me." He didn't pray loudly. He didn't pray long. But he prayed every single day. His mother once read to him from 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 17, "Pray without ceasing." Daniel did not fully understand the depth of those words then, but he obeyed them. The laughter. School was not always kind. Daniel was quiet, thoughtful, sometimes mistaken for weak. One afternoon, before a mathematics test, he bowed his head at his desk. "Lord, help me remember what I studied." A chair scraped loudly behind him. "See, prayer warrior," one boy shouted. "Do you think heaven will send you answers?" The classroom erupted in laughter. Daniel felt something heavy settle in his chest. His ears grew hot. For a brief moment, he considered stopping, at least in public. But later that evening, while reading his small Bible, his eyes fell on Romans 12 verse 12. "Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer." Faithful in prayer. That night, he knelt again. And the next morning. And the morning after that. When trouble knocked. The real test came unexpectedly. Daniel returned home one evening to find his father sitting silently outside, staring at the ground. His mother's eyes were swollen from crying. His father had lost his job. The days that followed felt different. Meals became smaller. Conversations became shorter. Worry hung in the air like harmattan dust. One night, Daniel overheard his parents whispering about rent. He slept outside under the stars. The moon was bright, but his heart was heavy. He knelt on the dry earth. "Lord, you said we should not worry." He remembered the words from Philippians 4 verse 6. "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, present your request to God." So he presented his request. Not once. Not twice. But every night. Days passed. Nothing changed. Doubt crept in quietly. Maybe God is silent, he thought. But then he remembered the story of Daniel, the man who prayed even when it was dangerous. Even when lions waited. If he did not stop, young Daniel whispered to himself, "I won't stop either." The waiting season. Waiting can be louder than noise. Weeks went by. Neighbors began offering advice instead of encouragement. "Sometimes you must help yourself," one said, shaking his head. Daniel continued praying. Sometimes with faith blazing like fire. Sometimes with faith flickering like a dying candle. But he kept kneeling. The knock. One hot afternoon, a knock echoed through their small house. Daniel opened the door. A neatly dressed man stood there. "I'm looking for Mr. Adeyemi," he said, Daniel's father. The man explained that a new company in town was hiring. Daniel's father had been recommended. Within days, he got the job. Not only a job, a better one. That evening, laughter returned to the house. Food simmered richly on the stove. His mother sang while cooking. Daniel quietly slipped into his room. He knelt. "Thank you." His mind echoed the promise in Jeremiah 33 verse 3. "Call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know." The answer had not come quickly. But it had come. A different kind of strength. Something changed in Daniel after that. Not pride. Not arrogance. But quiet confidence. The same boys who once mocked him began watching him differently. One afternoon, the loudest among them approached awkwardly. Daniel, when you pray, how do you know God hears? Daniel smiled. I don't always feel it, he said. But I believe it. He shared with them James 5 verse 16. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. Soon, one classmate began praying before test. Then another. Faith spreads quietly, like light at dawn. Years later. Time passed. Daniel grew taller. Stronger. Wiser. People often admired his calmness in difficult moments. What is your secret? They would ask. He would smile gently. I just never stopped praying. He understood what many do not. Prayer does not always change situations immediately. But it changes the heart to endure, to trust, and to wait. As written in Luke 18 verse 1. Men ought always to pray and not lose heart. And so the boy who was once mocked became a young man respected, not because he was the loudest, the richest, or the most powerful. But because he was the boy who kept praying. The end. Moral of the story. Never stop praying, even when it's hard, because God hears and answers in His time. Prayer builds quiet strength and trust. Pray without ceasing. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 17. Always pray and never give up. Luke 18 verse 1. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. James 5 verse 16. May this story inspire you to shine your light. Thanks for watching Kingdom Light Tale channel. Subscribe, like and comment for more stories like this.